Clash of Clans, the riveting rivalry of the MacLeod's and MacDonalds. Welcome, history enthusiasts. Today we are diving into an unforgettable chapter of Scottish history, a tale of pride, power, and unparalleled rivalry. This is the story of the MacLeod's and MacDonalds, two of the most storied clans in the Scottish Highlands. Their centuries-long feud shaped not only their destinies, but also the cultural and political landscape of Scotland. So grab your tartans and swords as we journey through the breathtaking Highlands to uncover the reality behind this legendary clash of clans. To understand the rivalry between the MacLeod's and MacDonalds, we first need to grasp the importance of clans in Scottish society. Medieval Scotland was not just a country, it was a network of kinship-based clans, each fiercely loyal to their families and committed to defending their land. These clans were more than extended families. They were communities and political entities that represented unity, survival, and identity. Now, imagine a landscape like the Isle of Skye, a rugged, breathtaking island full of natural resources, fertile land, and strategic maritime locations. It is no surprise that such precious land became a powder keg for disputes and rivalries, often erupting in bloody battles. At the heart of it stood two of the most powerful clans, the MacLeod's and the MacDonalds. The rivalry between the MacLeod's and MacDonalds runs so deep that tracing its exact origins feels like peeling back layers of history. Legend suggests it all began with a marriage gone wrong, land disputes between allies turned enemies. But as is the case with many feuds in the Highlands, this rivalry was primarily about control over land and resources. Who would own the lush territories of Skye and the surrounding Hebridean Isles? The MacLeod's, hailing originally from Norse Gael lineage, established themselves as dominant landowners on the Isle of Skye. The MacDonalds, meanwhile, were giants in their own right, claiming to be the lords of the Isles, presiding over sweeping territories in the Hebrides. With overlapping interests in conquest and a desire for supremacy, the seeds of discord were sown. It wasn't long before disagreements snowballed into outright conflict, with smaller skirmishes culminating in bloodier and more infamous confrontations. One of the earliest recorded flashpoints came in the 16th century, when competition over grazing lands and territorial control ignited violent outbreaks, but none of these episodes were as sinister or brutal as the infamous massacre at the Battle of the Spoiling Dyke. Picture this. The MacDonalds ambushed the MacLeod's under a guise of peace. After weakening their rivals in battle, they turned the tide with sheer brutality. They desecrated MacLeod lands, leaving behind a vivid and tragic marker of their feud, a massacre so heinous that it is still etched in historical memory. The chilling name of the event, Spoiling Dyke, refers to the desecration and destruction wrought by the victors. These battles weren't just about raids and sieges, they were psychological wars, instilling fear and hate and fanning the flames of their rivalry. In some skirmishes, captured prisoners were given the option of losing an eye or an ear if they refused allegiance to their captors. Such acts intensified mistrust between the two families for decades. No rivalry exists without larger-than-life leaders who stoke its fire. In the case of the MacLeod's and MacDonalds, these chiefs treated conflict as both their birthright and responsibility. Each generation of leaders added their own twists and escalations to the feud. The MacLeod chiefs were known for their cunning and pride. They built alliances that pushed the MacDonalds to their limits, especially during times of war. Meanwhile, MacDonald leaders, true to their heritage as Lords of the Isles, sought dominance over trade routes and maritime power, which gave their clan prestige and wealth. The stories of clan chiefs are legendary, each leader trying to outmaneuver the other in matters of land, alliances, and military strength. From secret raids to defensive sieges, their strategic brilliance and, at times, ruthlessness were on full display. The MacLeod-MacDonald rivalry wasn't confined to the battlefield. It wove itself into the very fabric of Scottish culture. Tales of their hostility became part of Highland folklore, passed from generation to generation. These stories spoke of betrayal, battles, and even supposed supernatural interventions, a testament to the powerful legacy their rivalry left behind. Some songs celebrated the warriors' bravery, or lamented the losses of doomed clansmen, symbolic artifacts such as the MacLeod's legendary fairy flag were said to hold mystical powers that could turn the tide in battle. The MacDonalds, too, relied heavily on their lore to maintain cohesion within their ranks, solidifying themselves as iconic figures in Scottish history. Even their tartans, the distinct patterns of woven cloth worn by each clan, became emblems of pride. To wear your clan's tartan in such a hostile environment was an act of defiance and loyalty, a symbolic war cry to allies and enemies alike. Highland clans often operated within the larger political framework of Scotland, aligning with or defying the ruling monarchy depending on their interests. Both the MacLeod's and MacDonalds played dangerous games of allegiance and rebellion under the rule of the Stuart kings of Scotland. At times, the two clans sought to curry favour with the monarchy, hoping that royal recognition would bolster their standing against one another. However, this tactic often backfired, with kings favouring one clan over the other, adding fuel to their hostility. During the Scottish Wars of Independence and Jacobite uprisings, clans like the MacLeod's and MacDonalds saw their alignments shift, sometimes forging brief truces, but often ending in betrayal and resumed bloodshed. Like all great fires, the flames of the MacLeod-MacDonald rivalry eventually burned out. The unforgiving realities of changing political landscapes, economic hardship, and the gradual erosion of the clan system led to the decline of open warfare between the two families. The clan system began to crumble in the 18th and 19th centuries, following events like the Highland clearances. These forced evictions displaced many Highlanders, including members of the MacLeod and MacDonald clans. Over time, the once fierce warriors of these clans became part of a shared Highland identity, uniting against common enemies rather than each other. Today, the rivalry between the MacLeods and MacDonalds lives on, though in a vastly different form. It's no longer waged on battlefields, but in the hearts of storytellers, historians, and visitors to the Highlands. Tourists who visit the Isle of Skye walk the same lands that once bore witness to this epic feud, absorbing its mysteries and historical significance. Members of both clans have embraced their shared heritage, acknowledging their rivalry as part of a complex and proud history. The dramatic landscape of Skye itself, dominated by Dunvegan Castle, the seat of Clan MacLeod, and the ruins of castles tied to the MacDonalds, stands as a reminder of the past. In the end, the story of the MacLeods and MacDonalds isn't just about conflict. It's a story of perseverance, identity, and the indomitable spirit of the Scottish Highlands. Their rivalry may have been steeped in blood, but it also forged legacies of pride and resilience that endure beyond the Highland peaks. Thank you, history enthusiasts, for joining us on this journey into the legendary feud that shaped Scotland's past. Don't forget to subscribe for more fascinating tales from history's pages. And if you ever find yourself in the Scottish Highlands, let the echoes of the MacLeod-MacDonald feud guide your exploration of these stunningly haunting lands. Stay curious and keep exploring.